Hi there, I'm Scott, and this is GreatScott Knitting Vlogtober Day 17. Took the weekend off from recording. I don't know that it was intentional, but I was just so focused in on Clue 2, marching through it. A lot. Okay, so talking about the Westknits Mystery Knit Along. That's that big thing that's going on, at least for me, this October. I am keeping up. I know many of you out there feel like you're falling dramatically behind. You're just finishing Clue 1. Great, you're finishing Clue 1. And which means you get to move on to Clue 2 and just continue, just keep on knitting. It's that just keep on swimming, thing from Dory. Well, just keep on knitting. And so, talking about just keeping on knitting, I have completed Clue 2. Now, I've got to tell you, I dedicate my Saturdays to me entirely. My Shabbat is mine. I very seldom have to spend any time doing anything else. And then Sunday is the day that I do chores. And once I'm done with chores, my day is my own. And chores are things like house cleaning and stuff like that. So, my evenings and weekends are pretty much devoted to this. And I am pretty much being a monogamous knitter during Vlogtober, except for when the clue is done, and then I can go on and knit on something else, which I am working on Color Craving. So Color Craving has languished over the last 4 to 5 days. So, spoiler, here comes. Of course, if you've been following me on Instagram, you already know what this looks like, and if you have not, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to know, look away. But here it comes. Clue 2 completion. We'll come up here a little bit closer. And because of the way this puppy is shaped, it's a little hard to show it all off. So we'll come back, give you that view. Better pictures are up on Instagram, so feel free to go check out GreatScott Knitting on Instagram, or check my links in the show notes. So the big question is, where is it going? Other big question is, how do I feel about it? So I'm going to start with, how do I feel about it? Well, I love the textures. I love the color play. I'm not sold. I love my pop of color, but I'm not sold on it yet with all this. Some people are saying it's kind of like bat wings, and I can see that. I don't know. We will see where this all goes as it develops. I loved the cables. I love knitting cables. I forget how much I love knitting cables. The process of it is always a little fiddly, but I just love the effect. I love that. It just seems so luxurious. This idea of these pieces of fabric crossing over each other. I just really like that. So, loving me. I love it, and yet I'm not entirely sold on it. I want to see maybe more of the pop of color coming in that kind of maybe connects it a bit more. I don't know. I am interested to see where we go with the live stitches that are left. I think we have at least 2 clues, which means there's at least 2 more sections, if not more sections, probably easily easily like 4 in the next clue and 4 in the next. I don't know. There could be up to eight more sections to this shawl. We still don't know what's happening with these loops on the bottom. Clearly something more, or at least my thought is something more is going to come into this middle section and to fill out the bottom. And then of course something more is going to happen on the sides. So it's very possible it gets longer and deeper before we're done. We don't know. So we await clue 3, we await clue 4, and who knows how many after that. So that's exciting. And which, of course, now with that done, I am free to take back up my color craving, which I'm still hanging out here with color craving. And let's see, I'm getting ready to do another eyelet roll of, I think it's 40 eyelets. And then we do another garter stitch stripe section, and then 50, and then another garter stitch stripe section. Then we go on to do something else. So section 1 of color craving is where I head to next for my knitting. All right, so what am I wearing? So let's start off with this shawl, which I've actually been wearing quite a bit lately. This is an early Stephen West pattern called Metalouse or Metalouse. I'm not entirely sure how it's pronounced, but it's a standard kind of a traditional triangular shawl, top down, starts with a tab and then grows. And yeah, very fun. This is knit in Wisdom Yarn's Poems sock yarn, and the colorways I think are pumpkin and Lofoten. They are the pumpkin is self-striping, and the Lofoten is mostly sort of this cream color, but it has some variation in it as well. So yeah, this happens to be one of his early on patterns, and I believe it is still free. So it was a free pattern that I knit back in the time when I was only knitting free patterns. I wasn't buying any patterns. I was only knitting that was for free, and mostly knitting on using very, very inexpensive yarns. So I actually ordered this yarn online, and I don't remember from where. So it's a sock yarn. It is, I think it's just like basic wool. It's not even a it's not like merino or anything like that. But it was fun to work with. It was really fun to knit, and I think I want to do it again. So I need to find some self-striping and maybe like a light colored self-striping with a dark colored down here for the extra stuff and the slip stitches. Anyway, I really, really like this shawl. It's lightweight, but because it's a standard wool, it's very warm and very cozy around the neck, and not itchy at all, which is kind of surprising. All right, what else am I wearing? I am wearing a cardigan that I knit forever and a day ago. This is started in 2023, and I finished it in 2017. So this is a long time ago. It's based loosely on the Men's Irish Cardigan by Carleen Kasman. And I did the cabling pattern design myself. So it's cabling and then like moss, some kind of a moss broken rib stitch type thing that goes with a basic cable. So that is fun. I both love and hate this cardigan. I love it because it's cozy. It's a little oversized. It's great on cold fall days like today. But I hate it because I'm a terrible, terrible sweater knitter, and the length of the sleeves is a bit over long, and the button band is terrible. The neck is terrible. It has no stretch to it, so the bind off was terrible. But other than that, it is a very fun cardigan, and it's very cozy and perfect for wanting to keep your arms and shoulders warm. Because the button band is wrong and because the buttons are all wrong, I don't ever button it. But other than that, it makes for a cozy little wear. I would consider trying to redo something like this in the future to hopefully to better effect. I really want to learn how to knit sweaters, and I don't know how. And sweaters intimidate me. The times that I have attempted sweaters, like this one was started in 2013, finished in 2017. Like, okay, so this one was knit in sections, like the back, the front, the sleeves, and it's knit flat. Even the sleeves were knit flat. It's the finishing stuff that I absolutely cannot stand. And then, yeah, and I usually like there's one pullover I made where the neck, I love it except for the neckline because the neckline is just wrong. It doesn't fit comfortably, so I don't wear it very often. I started another sweater and just got bored with it. Couldn't finish it. It's still sitting in a bag right over here in the closet. So I don't know if I'm ever going to get back to it and finish it up. We'll see. I think what I need to do is actually take a beginner sweater knitting class from someone in person, and then someone that will hold me accountable to push me through knitting the sweater from beginning to end. And because I want it to fit me, and I want it to fit me appropriately, and I don't know how. I've not knit enough sweaters to be able to alter. And everyone goes, oh well, just alter the knit it yourself and alter the sweater to make it fit how your style and what you like. Well, okay, first, number one, you've got to have knit enough sweaters to understand the construction enough to know how to make those alterations. And until you have invested the time and money and energy into knitting sweaters that you don't like, or that don't fit well, or that don't do what you need it to do, or that you don't quite know how to make that alteration that needs to be made to be able to make it fit right, I don't want to go through that. I just want to be able to have a pattern that instructs me in how to make it fit me. And I don't know that exists. It might, maybe it does. And for those of you out there who are sweater knitters, I know you're going to have tons of advice for me, and I would love to get all that tons of advice. But I think for me, it's going to take a change in mindset around sweater knitting, something that's going to alter my my current block to sweater knitting. Find a way to get it done. Find a way to do it that makes it enjoyable for me. Right now, when I even think about knitting a sweater, yeah, I get all the, I get verklempt or whatever you want to call it. I just like, no, I don't want to go there. It's a lot of money to spend on something that I don't know that I'm going to enjoy doing. Or if I get partway through it and then just get bored to tears knitting stockinette in the round. I think that's why I did a cable, but then I became overburdened with the fact of how fiddly it was. Now, don't think that it took me actually 4 years to knit this. The pieces I think probably took me maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and then it just languished in a drawer somewhere because I couldn't bring myself to finish the darn thing. So, yeah. We'll see. If you have great beginner sweater, beginner cardigan, pullovers, vests, whatever, that are great beginner sweater patterns that are going to teach me and get me excited, if you have those, give those to me in the show notes, because I don't know about 2023. I really want to try to knit a sweater beginning to end, maybe as a single project where I'm monogamous, get it done, and try and force myself to find the joy. And by force myself, I'll maybe allow myself to find the joy in sweater knitting so that I can embrace that particular tool set of knitting, which I've never really embraced. And I think it's because I just haven't had the instant success that I've had with some other things that I now love to knit, like shawls and scarves, and I've gotten into really knitting socks because I found a pattern that works, that makes sense to me, and that I can easily adapt in any way I want. So I have that. So socks are one of those things that I've been able to conquer, so that I avoided for a long time. So now I need to conquer the pullover sweater. I need to find a way to conquer that, because it's the hill, it's that mountain that I haven't climbed successfully in a way that makes me happy. So I need to do that. Maybe that is a goal for 2023. At some point in the year, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to knit a sweater beginning to end in one sitting, just to say I can do it, hopefully to learn how that process goes, what the construction's like, and then be able to move on from there. Anyway. See, I'm even kind of stressed out even thinking about it. God, it's terrible. All right. Any advice do you have for me on beginner sweater knitting, where that might give me that boost of energy around it and excitement around it? I'll gladly take anything you have for me. So thank you all for joining me. I'll probably add to this before I publish it, so it'll probably be another day. Probably get this out maybe Wednesday-ish. So anyway, if you're new to this channel, welcome. There's a lot of new subscribers. October is a great time, especially Vlogtober, and with the Mystery Knit Along, a lot of new viewers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're enjoying what you find here. For those of you who've been around for a while, welcome back. And I'm so glad that you're all here and supporting my little corner of the fiber world. And hey, to any of you who went to Rhinebeck, I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful time. It looked like the weather was very cooperative in pictures and things that I saw through Instagram and online. It looked like a couple of really beautiful days, and it looked like people had just a really, really swell time at Rhinebeck. I hope you still have money to put food in your kitchen and be able to pay all your bills, because I know what would happen with me is before I go to Rhinebeck, I'm going to need to save a lot of money because I know I'm going to spend a lot of money on fiber. Not to mention, I would be spending a lot of money just simply to go, because airfare, and actually I'd probably drive. I know that sounds crazy, between Wichita, Kansas and Rhinebeck, New York is not like in the neighborhood, but that's a drive that could be fun, especially in October. So maybe next year in Rhinebeck, maybe I will be there. It's kind of like at Passover, at the end of Passover, or at the end of our Passover Seders, we say next year in Jerusalem. Well, maybe for, here as we wind up the Rhinebeck weekend, next year in Rhinebeck, for the Rhinebeck season. That would be kind of fun and cool. Because there are really no major sheep and wool festivals that I know of in central Kansas, or in a quickly, easily drivable area. Although there is a lot of yarn and fiber festivals in my area. Over the past couple of years, I just have not wanted to go due to pandemic, COVID reasons. Still not comfortable in crowds, so getting there, I'd still be one of these people that's masked up, because it's just how I'm gonna be from this point forward. But I don't know. I'm gonna cross my fingers for next year, Rhinebeck. It sounds like fun. Anyway, so this one's already at about 20 minutes, which is too much for a single day. So I will knit some on Color Craving over the next couple of days as we await Clue 3 to drop. And for all of you still moving through, just keep your own pace. You'll get there. Enjoy the process. You may be thinking, like kind of I am thinking, it doesn't all quite go together yet. But kind of think of it this way, as you are, when you start baking a cake, or you're going to bake a cake and you're putting the batter together, it doesn't sometimes all come together and gel until the end. So just be patient. Just continue moving through the process. Enjoy the cables. Enjoy those twisted stitches. And we'll all come out on the other end and be like, oh, hey, you know what? That was fun. This looks really cool. That's my... Every year, he has not disappointed in a very cool and interesting shawl. So I do not doubt that this year will be as well when all is said and done. So enjoy that process. I know I am enjoying this process. I am enjoying the community that is coming together for this. It just creates a really fun energy at this time of year. All right, so I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Thanks. Hi there. I'm Scott. This is GreatScott Knitting, Vlogtober day 18. So it's a good day for talking about yarny goodness. So not much going on. Everybody's getting back from Rhinebeck and posting their wrap-up vlogs, and of course there's a lot of jealousy happening here in regards to all of you all. But you know what? That's what it is. So, but I am enjoying watching everybody's yarn haul videos and all that kind of good stuff. But in the meantime, while you all were gallivanting having fun, I was finishing up Twists and Turns Clue 2 and then logging some time on my color craving. And again, it's really hard. Right now, it's in a really tough spot to show anything off because everything is on extra needles and is bunched up, and there's just not enough space to spread it all out. But I'll pop a little picture of I'm a little bit further now than the picture that I'm going to pop up, but I'm going to pop up a picture here so you can kind of see that progress. So that's how that is going. And I'm really pleased with it. There's only one little, I'm thinking it's a little snafu and it's not going to be that noticeable, but yeah, we'll see if that's a little snafu or a big snafu. But it won't hose the entire thing up. Yeah. Oh. Extra. The dogs are, of course, going crazy. What else is going on? Not much. Not quite middle of the week. Tomorrow's middle of the week, and a kind of a slow week for me. Which is good. I needed a slow week. Might spend a little time playing some video games, or maybe just watching, getting caught up on everybody's yarn hauls from the weekend. Other than that, not much going on. I hope y'all are having a great day. The weather is turning colder. We had freeze warnings here last night and tonight. It's supposed to dip down to what is it supposed to dip down to today? It's gonna get down. Absolutely no use for me tonight. 22 Fahrenheit is where we're headed, which is about 15 below Celsius. I don't know. I'm not good at making that translation. But it's going to be cold here, at least for my estimation. But then later on in the week, it's going to get up into the 80s again. So going to be big, huge shifts of temperature. But that's kind of how October goes. All right. So it's real short today. I'll probably do some quick little hi, hello, to you tomorrow, and then get this out to you guys. So hey, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll show you if my progress on color craving is at a point where it makes sense to be able to show you anything because it's in this weird spot. I'll do that, but otherwise, just know that I'm slogging away on that until Thursday when we get Clue 3. So talk to you later. Hi there, Scott again with GreatScott Knitting Vlogtober day 20. And no, I did not upload yesterday, so I'll probably put this together and get it up today. So clue drop day, and Clue 3 is out. I have not watched the entire video, much shorter video this time. Not much shorter, maybe about half as long. And it jumps in using the color pop, the color pop color again, which I'm really excited about. That's going to be really cool. And again, featuring twisted stitches. So spoilers, well, a little bit of spoilers. So apparently twisted stitches is what we're doing in the color pop. And I love what he's doing with this section that I'm looking at, which is the beginning section of this clue, which is technically section 6. And my understanding is that this will continue on both sides. Well, excuse me, what this clue is doing. So here in a little bit, I will do the spoiler reveal for this. Learning some cool techniques that are making this a little bit easier for me to move through. So I have a feeling that this clue I'm going to be done with in plenty of time. And then we'll go back to color craving. So color craving is again on hold until it is time until I finish up clue 3. And at this point, I have no idea where this shawl is going and what this shawl is going to do. Because, unless, okay, so my first impression with where I'm at is that this shawl is going to be 20 feet long. That's what it feels like, because we're not extending the wings yet, and we're not extending down the depth of the shawl. It's continuing to go out, but not from where the wings are, not on those live stitches, which is interesting. So if you haven't started clue 3 or watched his video, you're like, well, then what the heck's he doing? Well, you'll have to go. You can see the spoiler when I get done, or you can go watch his video later. So I just don't know where this shawl is going. I don't know how it's all going to gel together. Right now, it feels like a lot of different stuff that hasn't come together. Now, it is not uncommon for Stephen West shawls to have a lot of different stuff. Like last year's was just tons of different techniques and styles and using the colors in different ways. And in the end, you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's it comes together. It looks cohesive. And right now, I'm not feeling cohesive with where this shawl's at. So I'm just gonna wait to see where he takes us in the end. Now, most of his shawl patterns do feel like they come together, and that they all tell a story in time, in terms of color, in terms of texture, in terms of shaping, and I just kind of want to bring up just some of his shawl patterns. Y'all are being so very patient with me here. So do a quick share here. So here's just a lot of stuff. Like Shawl Smorgasbord. I mean, you look at that, there's just lots and lots of different, a lot of different colors, a lot of different techniques, but it tells a story in color and in technique. Like there's a lot, looks like there's a lot of lace. There's a wide-ranging color palette, but still very, very interesting, very pleasing. And when I look at that, I go, there's a lot going on. It's very busy, and it looks like a giant ass shawl too. But there's that cohesiveness to it. Crystal fragments. You can kind of see by choosing the right colors, you get it tells an interesting story, and it has this one has a very interesting shapes, which I'm kind of wondering if this one's going in an interesting shape direction. At this point, I don't know that there's anything that's quite that gives us kind of quite the feel that this one has. I'm trying to think, yeah, this one's got me befuddled. I just don't know where it's going and how it's all going to come together. And I think this concept of it being a non-traditional shape might be spot on. But, even if you look at this one, texture time, not, non-traditional shaping, but just very interesting. And ultimately, it comes together and it has an interesting story that it creates in color, in texture, and in shaping. So I just trust that this is going to go in a direction that brings it together, that gives you an interesting story of color. We already have an interesting story of texture and color that it's creating. And so the next thing I think that's going to come along is a shape to this shawl, a finish to this shawl that we're not that we may not be expecting or have experienced often. Now I could be wrong, but that's where I feel that this shawl is headed, is in a direction that we're not expecting. Because right now, I have no expectation. I don't know what to think about where we're going, but I'm kind of taking a Martin of Knit 365 adage in Stephen We Trust. I'm just going to knit what Stephen tells me to knit, and in the color schemes that he's telling me to use, and we're going to see where it takes us. And yeah, so with that, let me prepare you because next up is going to be the reveal of where I am at the end of Thursday, the day that the clue 3 dropped on the day. So here's, I am one repeat away from having this side completed. And of course, it's just a jumble of cords everywhere with things that are on cords and everything. So if you don't want to know what's happening, look away, go do something else, fast forward. So this, okay, so we have our section 1, our section 2 wing, our cable section, and then this coming off down here at the bottom. And of course, because it's curling like mad, but that's to be expected because of the nature. But look at that detail that comes out in this color pop with those twisted stitches. I mean, this little strip right here is worth the price of admission in my book. I'm just in love with this. I'm in love with this, absolutely and completely. So yeah, I can't now. There's another repeat to this that comes out here, another like 4 inches, maybe 3 inches. And then we're going to throw that over here on the other end again, on this side of the equation, which is going to make this shawl seem like it's 20 feet long. So I don't know what he's doing. It already seems like a schlanket. So unless these wind up spinning up this direction, I don't know, maybe they're going to do something up this way. I no idea, no clue, absolutely have no idea where this is headed. And that's the beauty, that's one of the absolute joys of a mystery knit along, is you don't know where it's going. And we kind of had we kind of had settled into, okay, it's going up this way, it's going off this way, and there's live stitches, and those will probably continue on a little bit. And then he does this. Where are we going, Steve? Where are we going? I don't know. I'm just gonna follow and enjoy the ride. Are you enjoying the ride? Are you enjoying your experience of the mystery knit along? And how are you feeling about the colors that you've chosen, or the techniques that you're learning? You know, how do you feel about it? Now, I know that I'm one of these overachievers that has finished each clue prior to the new clue coming out. That's me. Do not judge your pace based on how quickly I'm going. I am finding that even though I think I'm a slow knitter, that I'm not. Either that, or I'm really committed to getting this puppy done, and so spend more hours at it. I don't know. I don't think I'm that particularly a fast knitter. I knit English style, carrying the yarn in my left hand. So that's usually a slower process, but I don't know, maybe there's an aspect of my technique that causes me to knit that maybe a little more quickly. Some people have had some revelations in Clue 2 in terms of their tension, and the balance or lack of balance of tension between their knit side and their purl side. Luckily, that has not reared a head for me. I apparently have a pretty balanced knit and purl tension. And I think that comes from the fact that I do not often knit in the round. I don't do a lot of stockinette knitting. I actually more now than ever in the past. But even when I knit socks anymore, I add a pattern to it. I never knit a vanilla sock, and so I'm always purling within the round as well. So maybe it's because I don't mind purling. Actually, I kind of like purling. I don't see it as that much of a challenge. But I kind of wonder if that's because I am an English knitter and not a continental. Because I have tried continental knitting, and I noticed when I tried that purling is something that feels more challenging. And maybe it's because I'm not practiced at it. It's not something I do a lot of, but it seems more challenging to me. But all right, so I think I'm gonna call that a wrap on the Clue 3 reveal. And yeah. So until next time, I'll probably pop back in when I have finished this clue and let you know how that has gone, especially over the weekend. Some interesting things will be happening this weekend that I am not going to disclose today, but possibly on the next my next video drop. I will have something to say about what I'm not saying about. Is that cryptic enough for you? I know I'm confused. Anyway, have a lovely day tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, and yeah. So may you have peace in your home and the fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Until next time.